thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Barry Erickson, and I'm Community Engagement Coordinator at Wheaton Public Library. Tonight, we are delighted to bring you this opportunity to dream and plan as we choose to cruise. Marcela Nelson has been working in the travel industry since 2007. In 2019, she founded Stressfree Travels, driven by her unwavering passion for travel. From finding the perfect accommodation to mapping out the most breathtaking itineraries, Marcela is here to lend a helping hand and ensure that our journeys are nothing short of extraordinary. So with that, I'm going to turn the screen over to you, Marcela. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Barry, for having me again. It's always a pleasure to be talking about travels. And today we'll be talking about one of my favorite subject, it's cruise. I just love cruising. I think it's so relaxing. I truly believe that everybody loves to cruise. If they don't think they do, they actually do. Probably they haven't found the proper cruise for them, but there is a cruise for everyone. I truly, truly believe on that. So with that being said, I think we're going to talk about the three different kinds of the main types of cruises that we can that you can choose. So the ones I'm gonna go talking about today will be, let's see if we can change it. There we go. So the first thing that you have to consider about is the preference, right? What size, how long you want to go, and what kind of atmosphere you want. Are you going to go with family? You're going to go with friends? You're going to go with your with your spouse? You want to celebrate something? You just want to go for relaxing? And also, wherever you travel, what your needs gonna be. So you need to have, something that is accessible, that has, has some wheelchairs, has less stairs. It is a family friendly. There's something that's catered for everybody. What is special requirements that you need to get on this cruise? Once you have that kind of narrowed down, there's pretty much three kinds of it. So you have your river cruise, your ocean cruise, your expedition cruise, right? So we're going to talk about a little bit about which one of them. Even though I put the ocean cruise as the second one, I'm going to leave that for last because that's, my favorite one. There was so much to talk about. And that's the most common one as well. So, and then after we talk about each subject, which one of them, I'll pause to see if everybody has any questions in regards to one of those three. I'll be happy to answer. Hope I'll be able to answer all of them. So the first one will be river cruises. River cruises, with everybody that I talk about, they think cruises, they're all the same, right? And they're not. So we're talking about river cruises. The ships are pretty much the same because they have to be the exactly same size to pass through all the river channels. So it doesn't matter which company you choose, they are gonna be pretty much be the same layout on the outside, right? And the inside there'll be of course different designs and things like that, but their height and their width is gonna be pretty much the same. And one of the things I like about river cruises because, and the first thing comes to mind when we say river cruises, you think about Europe, right? Because you can go visit so many countries and, without have to unpack, which let me tell you, one of probably the main thing that I hate about traveling is packing and unpacking. And then every time I have a client says like, I want to go take my kids to see Europe for the first time, and I want to be able to, see them 2 or 3 countries at least. So my first thing I'll tell them is like, how do you feel about river cruises? And they say, well, I don't like it because it's too many people, it's so crowded. Well, river cruises is not like that. First of all, we are talking about 1/10 of the size, pretty much, right? You have, it's usually the average of 2 to 3 people per cabin. Usually it's about 120 cabins, the most of it. So we're talking about 200, 300, 400 people, the max, instead of 2,000, 3,000 people on the regular ocean cruise liner. So that makes a difference. Also, as you can see on this the ship on this picture, for example, there is no slides. There is none like that. So those is pretty much built to be your hotel in the waters, meaning you have your room, you unpack, but you spend pretty much your all day outside, right? So even during so they every time you book your cruise, the meals are all included, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So on river cruises, they usually serve a really nice breakfast, amazing dinner, and lunch will be more on the go because pretty much everybody is never on the ship, right? So you sleep at night, you sleep and wake up, you're in a different country. So that's pretty much how it works. During the day, the cruise will be port and whatever city you're in, and then it will be cruising at night. So they do, of course, they do offer lunch for those who wants to stay on the ship, but usually nobody does. So everybody goes out to experience whatever that port, the city has to offer. And again, as I said, one of the things that I do like about it and that I tell all my clients, because you can see two, three, four countries at once, right? So if you look at the map, you can see all different rivers that cross that you can visit in one, on a 7-10 day cruise. So they have all different, in France, you have one that starts Amsterdam, goes all the way to Romania, right? So of course they're all different itineraries, but that's pretty much what you can see. And then I think it's AMA Waterways that offer a cruise that actually you'll be able to visit all of them. Is of course I think it's like a 30 days or 40-day cruise or something like that. But just the fact they're all so connected. So in a week, in 10 days, you'll be able to, you start in Amsterdam, you stop in Belgium, you stop in Germany, Austria, and you end up, in Budapest. So I think that just doing that is amazing. You're gonna wake up, I was like, okay, which language I'm gonna hear today? Which I think is always one of the fun things about traveling. And also in every port, because your cruise has access for all different kinds of foods and wines, so your menu will be matching for whatever city you're at. And the culinary usually on those river cruises, they take really, really serious. The menu and the food is just amazing. So if you look on, I would say probably going to be our left side as well, I hope. This is pretty much a picture of a room. Actually, a client sent it to me. So you sit in the bed and that's your view. You can have your window wide open. Some of those ships has a balcony separated too, but the newer ones don't. They are pretty much all inclusive because you can keep your glass closed and you'll be able to, you get more room, of course, more space in your room, but also doesn't matter how the weather is outside, you still be able to have a full view. It's just pretty nice. Sit on the chair, have a nice coffee, and just, see the city passing by. And here is just a video of an idea what a cruise, what a river cruise line is.
What defines a luxury river cruise? Is it the elegance of your environment? Is it the richness of your experiences? Is it the indulgence of your culinary appetite? At Uniworld, everything is included and every detail is carefully considered, designed, and delivered to make your journey unique and unforgettable. Contact your travel advisor or visit uniworld.com. Your environment.
So, Uniworld is one of the many companies that offer that. They're considered the 6 stars because they're really a really nice brand. But you have Viking, we have, as I mentioned before, AMA Waterways. There are so many companies who does this kind of cruises. But it's not only on the US, right? I'm sorry, on the Europe. People forget about it that we have so many rivers in the US, and there's companies who offer also cruises in the US. So if you don't feel like, you don't have a passport, doesn't want to get out of the country, but want to see what a wonderful way to see, the country through the Mississippi River, or you can do the Snake River on the West Coast, or you can do Boston, Portland on the East Coast. It is also, again, a wonderful way of doing it. We do have also other companies who offer that as well, not just necessarily one. There are so many to pick from, and they can go to those nice high-end ships, but also there's those steam paddles boats as well, which I always think it's fun to do it. Viking is just releasing a new one called the Mississippi. Let's see if I can get here. The Mississippi River. Let's take a look. Isn't that amazing? I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. So, again, river cruise is not just Europe. You can see, one of the best lands in the US through the river as well. And one of the things I want to point out is that on those river cruises, especially in Europe, the excursions are included. A Viking, I believe, is not. It's a separate. So you got to think about that when you compare prices. But usually they offer 2 or 3 different kinds of excursions that is already included on the price. One of the other differences is that usually the payments, they request a full payment way before the regular ocean cruises is. It's just because it's a small boat, there's less people, they need to have make sure that all their cabins are fulfilled, right, for that. And one of the other things too is some of them offer bikes. We have a bikes on the top. So one of the stops you can just grab a bike, it's for free, and you can just, if you want to explore whatever city you're in on bikes, which I think is always fun, especially with kids. Let's see. There you go. Okay, we're gonna pause now. Do we have any questions in regards to river cruises?
Well, there aren't any questions in the Q&A yet. Just a reminder for people to go ahead and type your questions in there. But while we are paused, Marcela, one of the things I love about traveling, of course, is trying all the different foods. So I was curious to hear you say that they will change up the menu on the river cruise based on where you are. Is that true of most of the cruise lines, or is that something special to look for?
No, it's most of the cruise lines, especially because so they don't have to carry all the food, right? So whatever stop, they can restock their kitchen, and that way they'll cook whatever it's more accessible at the time of the year and where they are. So it makes sense. It's a way of saving money in a way, and also to offer you something that's so unique. And not just food, is wine as well, and beer, whatever beer the region is, you'll find on the cruise ship.
Interesting. Thank you. It's something I didn't know before. Someone else is asking, what if you can give us just a few of the names of the high-end brands of river cruises that are in Europe?
Sure. So we have Ama Waterways. It's one of the big ones, and let me get here the one that I just got a blank. Uniworld. It's Uniworld. I think it will be on the top of them. It's literally one of the best ones. You have Viking, which it's the most famous one because they really invest on their marketing, and people who sell them really really love that. But as again, it's different taste and different flavors of cruise. We also have Ocean, well, Regent Seven Seas as one of them. Seabourn is considered a luxury brand. Windstar, as I mentioned, Amor Waterways. Disney also works with Disney Adventure by Disney works with Water Amorways. It's so hard to say that. Amor Waterways, and so you can tell the quality is really high. Otherwise, Disney will not use them as part of their one of the things that they offer. So usually I will be stuck with those. I think those are the big main ones that we know we have quality. That will be my two go-to.
Great. Okay, thank you. I think that's all the questions we have for now. So why don't you go on to the next section?
All right. So the second one would be expedition cruises. So those are, I call one of the lifetimes cruises, right? So we're talking about Antarctica expeditions, Galapagos, Egypt, the Nile River. So they do a more a specific region, and then usually they'll have people they know that. So it will be photographers, will be geology people, people that really knows the area, biologists. They'll be with you and they will be telling you for whatever area you are, and they will be equipped. So whatever region you are, you'll be able to see and explore. It's amazing. And then so as you can tell, like the cruise ships, they're smaller. They don't have slides. Some have maybe some balconies, but that's not what that's for, right? They have to be tough and they have to be smaller because they want to get on those places that is not easy to get. So you can have their experience, and it's pretty neat, and it's really really interesting. So as I said, they're all guided by leaders. So there will be, as I said, photographers, geologists, people that really know what they're talking about. They have a passion for it, and they just want to share that with you. And that's one of those bucket list kind of trips. And then, of course, I always make sure you're safe. It's pretty different in need. So let's see this one. This one is the Silver Seas, which is considered one of the luxurious companies. And this one is, they go to the Galapagos, but they go everywhere that is, away from the regular routes. So can you imagine the swimming, the sea lions is just it's a pretty unique experience that, you know, and this video see all the kids, it's something that they will never ever gonna forget. Let's see what's next. So this one it's really interesting. So this is the sea cloud. I don't know if anybody ever heard of it. I'm not gonna bore you guys with the history of it, but it was a ship that was built many, many years ago. So if you know somebody in your family that actually enjoy sailing, right, on those, not those regular huge ocean, but just like how it used to be, this is an experience of a lifetime. I believe this one has only 15 cabins, so it's only about 30 to 40 people the most, but it is an experience of a lifetime, and and you can do it. So talking about sailing, I have experience to see all of that. Again, it's not for everybody, right? But it is pretty cool to be able to see and see the whole crew, right? You're right there. And specific, the Sea Cloud does the switch throughout the year. So it's pretty much on Greece, on Mediterranean, the area, and then comes sometimes and does the Caribbean. But it changes, so it's not doesn't have a fixed schedule. But of course, as you can see, it is just stays whatever is warm, which I wish I could be like that, just follow the sun, whatever the sun goes. But again, another unique experience that you can do, another expedition. Let's see. So, all right, so let's pause here before we get into ocean cruise, which is my favorite. Do we have any questions in regard to the expedition cruises?
Right. Again, we'll give people a chance to formulate and type in those questions. I'm just wondering, obviously, if you want to do some of the sailing yourself, you want to be cruising, but I'm wondering for those expedition cruises, are there particular reasons if maybe you were going for photography or to learn about the geology or something scientific about the area, why you would choose a cruise over a land-based trip?
So this is for people who dying to see the Gallops or really wants to see Antarctica. It's just to see the region and know more about it and experience that, right? It's not so, because for example, the ocean cruises, Caribbean, people like to just go on the cruise itself. On the expeditions, you're going there for a mission of see, firsthand experience, walk on top of a volcano, swim with the swim lions, and see the penguins in there. So that's pretty much what is there for, and to learn more about it. So this one that I show is run by National Geographic. They have association with them for all those places. So it's a really, really in-depth learning experience.
Great. Okay. All right. Well, there's another question. Someone asks, can you please give perhaps 8 additional places to go on expedition cruises? So we saw a couple of examples on your slide, but what are some other places that could be explored with an expedition cruise?
You have Amazonia, Brazil. You have Egypt. So it's pretty much everywhere in the world and little areas that's not everybody can access. Does that make sense? Because they're smaller, they can be smaller cruises and they can get into places. So as you can see, for example, they don't dock, right? There's no dock. It's just stop and aware, and then they get into small boats, and then they take you for whatever destination you want to go. So let me see if I can find a list of here, but it was pretty much in every continent. There was some kind of special expeditions, Peru. So I will be searching
I think
for
I
it.
knew someone who took one like up into the fjords in Scandinavia to see the Northern Lights.
Yes,
that
yeah,
area.
Iceland. Yes. Let's see if I can find it here. I had a list of it. I just didn't write it down because like that's a lot of places.
And maybe while we're thinking about other options for expedition cruises, someone else is asking, have you, do you know anything about like the Road Scholar trips, and are those ones that you would recommend?
I have not, but a lot has to do with the things. You just gotta give me the destination, and I can get you to it. I can connect the dots and figure out who who can take you there, who can work with it. I'm almost pretty sure the Lindeblad expeditions, which is connected with National Geographic, they'll do that just because it's National Geographic, so they're really, really into that. But so, for example, all destinations here, I'm giving a list of places really quick. So there's Iceland, Antarctica, Gallops, Alaska coast, Iceland, Amazon, passage through Egypt. This is a really cool one because it's not just right before you get into actually the boat. They take you to all the sightseeings in Cairo. It's a really, really interesting one. It's a 13-day exhibition. And then there is Greece and the Dalmatian coast. Aboard of the Sea Cloud was the boat that we just saw. There is the spring is I don't know if I can say it. It's on the Antarctic Lights and Epic Ice. So coast of Croatia, Azores, Portugal, again Antarctica, Croatia, that goes to the Dubrovnik and the Split and Zadar. Gallops again. So as you can see, like it's pretty much everywhere, right? Patagonia, of course, we cannot forget about that. Bali, and then Canada and the Newfoundland. So it's a little bit everywhere, and it will be to all those places they're really further away. That's not easy access. That you can just simply just fly there.
Great. Thank you. This person's question kind of about Road Scholar. I think they're a company that does both land trips and cruising types of trips. Would there be a reason to choose a company that does only like river cruises or only expedition cruises rather than a travel company that focuses on both?
To be honest, I don't think so, because I think you can find good everywhere. I think a lot has to do with what your preferences, right? So even though they maybe be offered the same thing, you can tell they go towards something more specific. So the best way of doing it will be research and see what's the points they're going to look at it, they're be focusing on, and see which one matches with your interest. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Great.
Okay.
Thank you. So again, we welcome our audience to go ahead and type in additional questions, but I think at this point you can go ahead onto ocean cruises.
Woohoo! Let's talk about fun. So ocean cruises, that is so much to talk about. And then again, when we talk about cruises, it's people's like, why is so confusing? Well, because there's 54 cruise line companies, and that's in general, not just ocean cruises, okay? And there is more than 524 cruise ships. So how? No wonder everybody get a little lost, right? Well, which direction to go. So for on-ship cruises, I think the best way for me to do is because since COVID happened, and we all know the cruise line was the one that got most hit right with it. It totally makes sense. How did that happen? So everything stopped. So then after now they would pass through it. Thank God that's thing of the past. So they have all this plan that pretty much froze for 2 years, and they're all coming. So I feel like they're releasing a new cruise ship every week, which pretty much I think they are. And it's so hard to keep track on it. And they're so different. Which cruise line, they are so different. They focus on different things, which one of them. So that's why when I say there is a cruise line for everybody, and there is. So I think the best way for me to do this, I'm going to show you all the last cruise ship of 4 different cruise lines that they're releasing. And you're going to be able to see a little bit of difference and exactly what I'm talking about. So let's start with the first one. This one's kind of a little loud, but.
I keep on moving to the beat of my own drum. Turn up the volume, you can hear that rum pum pum. I got the power, I got the power. We can do anything, we can go anywhere. I got the power, I got the power. We can do anything, we can go anywhere. I got the power.
So this one is the Icon of the Seas that was just open last week for visit. So they allow a few people to go in and take a look. And I think it starts selling this week. Again, I can't wait. So that is the largest cruise ship in the world. So for you to have an idea how gigantic it is. So this is the one from Royal Caribbean. See how I can do this. There we go. And now we have MSC. That one hasn't been released. It's coming, and again, I can't wait. All right, so and MSC is a European company. So as you can see, it's different. They are really strong in Europe, and they're slowly coming to the US. So they already have 4 ships here. One start with Maravilla, and that is out of New York. We have Seashore and Seaside out of Florida, and they just gonna have a new one out of Galveston, Texas. All right, and now Norwegian. This one hasn't gonna be released next year.
Let's run away. We can go anywhere. 'Cause we got the world and we can go anywhere.
so that's Norwegian Cruise Line. And the last one that I'll be present, of course, there's more. Oh, come on. There we go. It's, of course, I cannot miss Disney, right? Oh, I love Disney. All right. So I decided to show this light so you can tell, you can have the feeling of all those different, right? Of course, there is more. There's Carnival that I didn't put in there. Tons of them. Let's see what I missed. There's Celebrity. There was Princess Cruises that because we'll be sitting here all night long. But this is for you to see just by their commercial, right? Just how they're presenting their new cruise ship, how they are different feelings, right? So for example, from Royal Caribbean, they are about everybody, right? So there is huge water slides and neighborhoods, and they call neighborhoods. And then you have MSSC, which is a European company, is more classy. You can tell it's focused more on the adults. And then you have Norwegian Cruise Line, which is also the same, but also shows that there are also focused on kids. It's like, wait, we have this, but we also have this for the kids as well. And of course, you have Disney, which did the opposite, because you think about Disney, you think about kids, and they're showing like, wait, we have a restaurant just for adults. As you can see, there's more adults on that than there are kids, right? Even though they have the Disney, pictures and stuff like that, but there's just more adults on the video. So just to see a little bit of the difference. So let's see if I can get out of this. Oh, so that's pretty much how it is. So first of all, if we go back to the beginning, who is traveling, right? It's gonna be a family with kids. How big are the kids? And we talk about teenagers, we talk about kids, because that will make a difference on which cruise line you should pick, right? One of those are focused more on the kids. Does the cruise ship has a splash pad? Is my kid potty trained, right? And if it's not, it's not all cruise ships has a splash pad. So that's something that you have to look at it. And then it's going to be a multi-generation. It's going to be grandma and grandkids, and it's like all the generations going. So you need to be able to, okay, so we need to have, do we need a wheelchair? Do we have stuff for everybody to do? And that's one of the directions Royal Caribbean with this largest cruise is because he's able to offer everything for everybody, right? So once you get inside, each have pictures of the new ship that they just released. I'll show in the end if we have time. So we can get a little bit about it. But they have neighborhoods, so they have areas for each one of them. So of course, I always have the casinos, but you have the boardwalk, and then you have the seaside, which is the part where you have the splash pad for the kids, and there is infinity pool right there as well. So then the parents can kind of watch the kids, but also have a spot with it. They create so many more restaurants everywhere besides their, the regular windjammer buffet, but they also have restaurants by the pools. So they're creating in a way that there is everything for everybody to do, which is, I think it is really, really cool. But but also can be overwhelmed, right? So it's so big, and if you never sailed before, it can be a little bit, oh my God, this is too big. You don't even know where to start, right? And then I would suggest going back to the older cruise ships, Freedom of the Seas, all the older ones, which they all got a they all got a facelift. They have been remodeling, change carpet, the decoration is still a little more on the old style. However, everything's being redone, rebrand, and they're smaller, so it will be less intimidating if it's your first time sailing. And one of the things that I always suggest too is that, if you're not sure, it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be on a boat, how I'm going to be in the ocean, do a short one, right? Do a Monday through Friday one so you can have a taste of what it is, right? How does it feel? And if you like it. So, if it's going to be your first time, you're not sure how your kid's going to react, how you're going to feel, don't book a 10-day one. Don't do that. Do a smaller one first. Just get your feet in water. Maybe don't book like the newer ships, so they are huge. Maybe just you want to go to the older ones where first, of course, the price is more accessible, but then give a little bit of taste of how it works and how it is on the whole routine of being on a cruise ship. And one of the things they are pretty much, they'll have their app, which all the information will be in there once you book. But once you're inside, you have every night, you get, a program for everything, which I meant to bring on, I left in my office. But everything that's happening in the next day, you have your cabin steward who clean your cabin usually twice a day. Cleans in the morning and then cleans it up and set up for the night. And when it comes at night, he's going to leave you a program for the next day. If you have excursions already booked, it will be on the night before to tell exactly where to meet, where and what time, and whatever other extra information you need to have. So on the cruise, everything is included in regards to meals, right? Your 3 meals are included: lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Usually, breakfast you can order room service, and depends of what level of category of cabin you have, that can be ordered for free, right? On Disney, room service is for free. It's already included on the price. Royal Caribbean, again, if you're in the suites, is different than if you're in just a regular cabin. You have to pay extra for it, but you have that option. Otherwise, you can get on the buffet. And then at night, usually you have a seating time, or you have, they usually, pretty much all cruise line offer sets 2 seating times, or open time where you can just go whatever time you want. Those are really restricted, so it depends when you book it, you choose right away. So of course, whoever books first get the priority. So it's not everybody who can just pick whatever time you want. Of course, the last ones to get closer to the cruise ship, they will get whatever is open. So I always tell my clients to pick a time. Usually, I know sometimes it'll be 5:30 or in 7:30. Sometimes it will be 6:30 and 9 o'clock. And could be it is a little tough. However, it is so much different. So what happens is if you have an open time. So Royal Caribbean, for example, right? So they have 3 floors of restaurants. One of the restaurants will be just for open seating, right? So you just show up there, say, I need a table for 4. And then you wait until a table is open and you sit down. But if you have already scheduled your seating time, you're going to have a table, a server for your whole cruise. So, for example, if my seating is 5 o'clock, so once again, my room card will have where the restaurant's going to be and what my table number is. So every day, that time, I just walk in and I just sit on my table. My table will be right there waiting for me. And if you're sailing with friends, you just connect the cabin numbers and you all be, they usually try to get you guys set up at the same time, sitting on the same table. So it is sometimes it's tough because of the time, right? It's like, oh, really? But do I really want to eat at 6 o'clock? But believe me, you really want to do that because you know your server, you know you. So by the second day, you know what you want. You know, they know exactly that's what you're going to order today. If you have any allergies, any special requests, they will know and they will be reviewing to the end of your cruise. And it is kind of the same thing with Disney Cruise Line. The only difference is they rotate the restaurants, but your servers rotate with you. So you have the same service for the whole time, which I think is always nice, especially with kids. You know, they know your name, they know what you like. It's, becomes family. And something that I have to say, 99% of the cabin crew, the crew on the ship, they are so amazing. They do go above and beyond. And it doesn't matter what crew line it is. Sometimes you can get a bad ones, but you can get bad ones anywhere, right? There's always that percentage of, but most of them, they're just so happy to serve you and just to be, helping you. It's pretty amazing, their service. So so that's pretty much what it is, how it works on the meal side, right? So you have breakfast, it's on the buffet, and it could be on the dining as well. So usually they offer 2 spots for breakfast. The main dining will be like they have a menu in the calendar for there from that, or you can just get on the buffet in the morning and grab your breakfast there. Lunchtime will be on the buffet. Some cruise will have some restaurants open for lunch, but usually it's just the buffet. And then remember, usually they do have some kind of restaurant, some kind of buffet area around the pool. And usually people don't sit down to eat lunch, they kind of more snack in. And I do like that. Like every cruise line that I went to, they always have some kind of restaurant by the pool. So I would just, grab a burger, a pizza, some fries, and that will be kind of my lunch. There is a salad, there's some pasta there as well. And then in regards to drinks, so Disney Cruise Line is the only one who offer soda for kids that is included on the price. Besides the regular iced tea, water, coffee, they will have soda will be included. On the other cruise line is part of a package. You have to buy that separate. Of course, there's promotions like Norwegian Cruise Line that you can buy, you can get 5 stuff for free. There will be some money for excursions, free Wi-Fi. And so there's always promotion going on. But the main thing is that sodas and alcohol will be separate, right? But that doesn't mean you don't have anything. You're always gonna get some kind of juice, iced tea, and coffee and water available. Soda and above will be extra charge. So the other thing is that it can get, people don't want to be crowded. That's one of the nice things about this Royal Caribbean, this new cruise ship, because they have restaurants everywhere. So that means you don't have to go to Windjammer to eat because you have other options. Depends what side you are on the cruise ship. You can just stop and just grab something. And that helps, not be too packed, right? And again, it depends what suite you got. You can get for breakfast delivered to your room. So you don't even have to leave the room to have a breakfast. But even with that, there's people who think, what, that is too much. I don't feel like staying in line and, to put food on my plate and things like that. So because of that, the cruise line a couple years ago decided to create a separate area for people that don't want to have to stay in line, right? They want to be more practical. Like, I don't want to waste 2 hours for breakfast. I want to be able to grab something really quick or be able to just sit on the table and have my food come to me. So MSCC was the first one who created the concept of the ship inside of the ship. So which is a whole section of the cruise ship that is reserved, who is separate, has his own restaurant, has its own concierge, own elevator, own pool, own solarium, own bar. So it's a little bit separate. So you don't have to go to the other part if you don't want to. And then Royal Caribbean create the same thing, which is the suite levels, which what does is, offers you easy check-in and check-out, embark and disembark. And then they have a concierge, you have somebody specific to take care of your request. So now pretty much every cruise line have that. That is specific service where your cabins are bigger, the amenities on the cabins are better. And then you have a little bit more exclusivity, so you don't have to, unless you want to, there is no reason to, stay in line in the buffet. So here's a little bit of what exactly I'm talking about. Sounds a little bit off, but let's have the experts tell you what I'm talking about.
I design spaces because I think about, again, the human proportion, the human dimension. You're not a guest, you are the owner of the space.
We have beautiful cabins and amenities throughout the entire ship, but on the Haven, we elevate it to the next level for a guest that wants the best and enjoy a personalized experience that's unparalleled in the industry. We've added spa facilities, we've added infinity pools, we have a much larger outdoor seating area.
When you are there, it's so natural, this incredible haven. They are designed for the beauty, they are designed for the pleasure to stay there. They are designed to be elegant. The whole project is connected with this word, to be elegant, all the time.
All right, so that's the Norwegian. So Norwegian, that section is called the Haven, which is, again, a separate section from the cruise where you have your own butler who is in charge of your room, clean your room and bring whatever you need. If you have a specific request, they say, I would like to have a martini before I go to bed. And every night they will bring the martini to you. The rooms are bigger, and usually they are on most of the time, they are on the aft, they are in the front of the aircraft, on the front of the ship. And they will take that portion of it, and it will be like 2 or 3, 4 levels of just the area. The next one will be the MSCC. As I say, they were the first one who actually designed that years ago, which is called the Yacht Club, which I'm so excited because that's where I'll be going in 10 days from now. On next Sunday, I will be experienced out of Orlando. And that will be, so if you want to know exactly how it is and how it works in real life, please follow me on Facebook or Instagram. I don't send messages. I don't send anything. You can just follow and follow if you don't want to, but you'll be able to see kind of step by steps how it works as I'm going through all that. So, and other thing that I forgot to mention. So every cruise ship has their specialty restaurant. So every time you hear the name specialty restaurant, that means it's not included on your price. So that means you have to pay extra to go. So usually they'll have a steakhouse, they'll have some kind of Japanese restaurant and a Mexican restaurant and an Italian restaurant. So, and then sometimes they'll have burger places. So I know Royal Caribbean has Johnny Rockets, for example, and that is not included on your package. So that one you pay separate. You can buy a package that allows you to use all of them, or you can just go to just one specific. Make sure you always gotta make a reservation. You cannot make reservation for those beforehand. You have to be once you're on the ship. And one of the things about yacht club, or if you're sailing in Haven, or if you're one of the suites on Royal Caribbean, your concierge should do that for you. So once you check in, say, no, I want to have dinner tomorrow in the steakhouse at 7 o'clock. I want to have dinner on Tuesday on the Japanese, and they'll make sure they get all assigned for you. And also for the shows, which MSC has 2 shows that they charge X, which I think like $10-15 for it, that they offer on the cruise ship. But everything else, it's included. You don't have to pay extra, but you do have to make reservations. For the Aqua show on Royal Caribbean, for the newer ships who has that whole area in the back open, for that one, you can make reservations beforehand. The ones on MSC is only once you are on the ship. And to be honest, I never had issues making reservations for those, but you never know. But if you're on a yacht club, if you're in Haven, they will have a whole area separated just for if you're staying in Haven. So you don't even have to, you just have to be there. I think it's like up to 10 minutes before. After that, they will release those seats. And the same thing with the yacht club, they'll have an area so your butler just gonna walk you to the show and just bring that to you. Let's see. So, and it's one, if people complain about how they don't, what happened here? Oh, there you go. They don't like stay line and how crowded it could be and all those things. If you stay in one of those suites on the yacht club on Haven, you don't have any of that. So pretty much in 10 minutes, you are in the cruise ship. You get in, you check in, and they will take you to your cabin. Other thing too is that once you go check in, the cabin usually is never ready because there's a turnaround. The ship gets to the port at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. They have to wait until they're released from customs so that people can get out, and then they gotta clean it up because they have already people ready to get in. So it's like a really quick turnaround. So usually, from my experience, the rooms will not be ready until like 12 or 1 o'clock. So make sure you have your essentials with you before you hand off your carry-on bag, because that only gonna be on your cabin more later in the day. And you gotta follow all the restriction of things that you cannot, because if there's something that you cannot bring, for example, you cannot bring blow dryer, you can bring strainer and curling iron, but you cannot bring blow dryer because they offer that. So that and steamer for the clothes, you cannot bring that either. So if you have that, your suitcase is gonna be the last one to come out because they have to come, they have to call you, you have to get to the last floor to get your stuff. So it is a headache. So just don't bring stuff that you're not supposed to. So tips how selecting the right cruise line. So again, research for the cruise line and itinerary, figure out where you want to go, what cruise line more match with your vibe, with what you want to get from it. Read the reviews and stuff that tell everybody. Always read the bad part of the reviews because you'll be surprised. People are complaining stuff that's not important, right? So you see like, oh, they only got 3 stars. Let me see why. And sometimes all the things that people are complaining about is something that's not important to you. So, always read the reviews, recommendations, talk with somebody who's been to. Of course, consider your budget. That's the first thing you have to go, okay, how much money I want to spend? And then your travel dates, when you're available, how flexible you are to make easier to find the trip that matches with your budget. And last one, pack wisely, don't pack too much. If you're going to the Caribbean, you're going to be in the swimsuit half time of the day. hopefully the weather will be amazing. So make sure you have that.
Marcela,
make
I- Marcela, I'm sorry to
Yes.
interrupt, but I think we
Yeah.
lost your screen share. So if
Oh.
you're, want to put your slides back up again.
Okay, hold on.
And
Sorry
then,
about
and
that.
we've got a couple of questions for you when you're done here.
Oh, there you go. Share screen. Let's figure it back. It's not allowing me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. You're good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So engage in onboard activities. There is a lot happening on the cruise. Like you will not be bored. So make sure once you get that paper with everything that's going on at night for the day after that, just mark down. My husband and I usually we get one drink, we go sit in a balcony, or sit on a table. It's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do tomorrow. This is happening. I want to be able to see this because there is a lot happening. And most of all, if you plan everything beforehand, once you're there, just enjoy. Just enjoy each other's presence, and things can happen, right? So, for example, there was a cruise 3 weeks ago, supposed to go to Florida, end up in Canada because of the weather. So make sure you're flexible, right? Things can happen, but just make the most of it because there's so much you can do, so much you can control. And that's it. Any questions? If you don't want to waste too much time researching, please give me a call. Marcela, Stressfree Travels. All right, we got questions?
We sure do. Thank you.
Awesome.
So I'm going to group these first two. Someone is asking, is it true that once you go on a cruise line that you get future cruises at a discount? And kind of the next question goes with that. Then do you recommend sticking with one cruise line so that you get those additional perhaps discounts or perks or benefits?
Yeah, so they do have, usually once you get all your paperwork, it's going to tell you, like if you book, you can get X amount of discount. So yes, there is always some promotion going on. They always have a desk. And then, yeah, you'll be able to book or put a deposit for, even if you don't know where you're going, you can put a deposit. It's going to be a credit, and you have, depend of the cruise line, but it's about 12 to 24 months to decide where you want to go. And then you'll be able to hold to that discount.
Right. So assuming you're enjoying that cruise line, it makes sense to stick with one.
Exactly. Yeah. You can always try different ones because why not? I think that's but if you're enjoying that one, so why not stick to it? Especially because you can get again those discounts, and you can use in 2 years. So in 12 months you book a different one, and then the 24 months after that, just go back to that one, and you get a chance to compare without losing the promotion they're having on that cruise.
Sounds good. All right, thank you. And the next question is, what type of trip insurance is necessary, and maybe an idea of the costs associated with trip insurance for
yeah,
cruises?
so because I'm not an insurance expert, so I cannot give too much information on it, but the basic is, I know it depends how long you are, how much you pay, and who is going, where you're going, and the age. So that is all factors that they take into consideration how much will cost. So the sooner you book, the better it is, the better coverage you get. What I always tell my clients is that, once we book it, I give them a few options and their phone number for whatever company I'm using. And I say, call them and ask them what are your concerns, right? Because everybody has different concerns. Everybody thinks that something could happen, which will be, call them and say, if this happens, would I be covered if I use this policy? And they are the experts. They'll be able to tell exactly what's covered, what's not covered. The only thing, especially after COVID, that we learned is that you should not go without insurance.
Okay. And the next couple questions relate to single travelers. If there's a particular cruise line that caters to single travelers, and how to avoid the added cost that often it is,
Yeah, this is so hard because unfortunately they haven't released any good ones yet. But I do know For example, Norwegian Cruise Line, they have single cabins. Not all of their ships has it, but the latest one have. And they also have a single lounge, which is pretty cool. So those single cabins, they are not balcony cabins; they're inside cabins, but they are for single people. So that price comes on a lower price. But they also go fast because they don't have that many. But I really, really like it that they offer this lounge, so you can meet other people that are traveling by themselves, which is kind of good. But unfortunately, hopefully, they will be back with promotions that allows you to have, pay a better price instead of have to pay for double occupancy on it. Because right now, the only thing they do is they take it out the taxes, right? The port taxes they pay for 2 people, you'll be paying for just 1, but everything else is still kind of double. And the other thing that I forgot to mention in regards to, because there's a lot of promotions in regards to kids sail for free, which is awesome. But keep in mind, it is for free from the cruise line standpoint, but you still have to pay the taxes for it. Because it was like, oh, but it says kids for free. They're charging me $300 because those are port taxes that the cruise line is not going to pay for you. And it changes, depends what your ports are, whatever stops you have. So whatever they charge the cruise line is going to charge you. But that's it.
Okay, so I think I heard you say it was Norwegian Cruise Line that has the single cabins.
Yes. They do have it. And I know American Cruise Line, who does the US, they do have a special cabins for single that charge less, does not charge double. But unfortunately, it's only the minority of that for now.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I think there's a couple questions in the chat real quick. Let me see those. What is the most affordable option for a single parent with 5 young adult children? So like their ages 18 to 25. Would there be a way for that group to have an affordable cruise? And the person's asking, maybe a river cruise in the US would be a good option, but what would you recommend?
River cruise in the US is a good option. However, keep in mind those are smaller, so it is about $5,000 to $6,000 per person, the average for a week on a cruise, on a river cruise in the US. So it is not on the cheapest side. I would say the better price will be able to enjoy those kids sail for free promotions, and get rooms that fit more than 5 people. So actually, I just searched for a client this week for a room that actually fits 6 people. So it's a 2-room suite that they have. One is the main suite, who has a queen bed that can become just single. And there's another room with 2 double beds, and there's 2 that comes from the ceiling, so you can fit 6 people in there. So there are cabins who fit more, but they're a little bit more on the not so much in a higher price, but there's not that many. So they go fast because they don't offer that much. And the other option will be, because I think we can get a room for somebody who is 18 will be able to have a room as long as connected with somebody else who is older. So she'll be able to get 2 cabins connecting with each other. And then that way she can have 3 and 3 in each room.
Okay, and just so I understand, you're saying actually an ocean cruise for that group makeup might be cheaper than the river cruise?
Could be, yeah, because as long as she has somebody with that's 18 and older, the other person can be on the other room as well, and you can kind of divide the 2 kids, and you can get 2 cabins together. And you can get some ocean cruise has the inside cabin that is connected with the balcony cabin, so it makes cheaper, right? Because the inside cabin has a better price than the cabin. And as far as the advance you book, the better it is. So, for example, I hold a few groups who has. So what happens once a cruise line release the schedule for their specific ship, we'll go and we can hold a few cabins, and then we freeze the price of them. So in a year from now, their prices will be, more expensive, but you still be able to keep those prices. So I book a client with one of those cabins because it can only fit 2 people. And then I was able to get 2 cabins together, one for the regular price, what was on that day, but I was able to get the other cabin who has those freezing prices connected. And they're, a family of 5. So they'll pay a lot less if they had just bought the regular prices. So that could be another option as well. But again, once you have your budget, it's easier to work around and figure out ways of doing it.
Great tips. Thank you. And it looks like we just have one more question.
Mhm.
Someone asks, when considering additional costs for a cruise, airfare would be one. And of course, there's tipping. How much in tips should be budgeted to give perhaps at the end of the cruise or for the various people that are providing services? Who should be tipped and how to budget for that?
Right. So you can get the prepaid gratuity, and then there is a lot of companies like Norwegian Cruise Line is adding that to for free. I think MSC just come up with a promotion that is already included. However, there is some, because that prepaid gratuity goes to the people that you don't see, the people that work in the kitchen, on the lower level of the cruise ship. So that's what the money goes for. So usually I tell my clients, and this is how I do it. On the first day, I give to my rooms steward $20, and I write it down whatever I need. For example, there's a little fridge there, a mini fridge, and there food and stuff that of course they charge for. I asked him, like, can you empty it out for me, please? Because I'm not gonna get anything. That way I have space to put my water in there, whatever stuff that I needed. And depends how the service goes. Every day I leave a nice note and I leave $5 in there or $3, So I start with $20 to kind of set up the tone. And as it goes, I'll, give $5 a day if everything is good. And of course, if you're sending in a suite, that's a different level because then you have a butler who will be unpacking your suitcase and all that stuff. So that's a different level. It's really, really personal. That's how I do it. That's how I suggest my clients to do it. You can start with $10. You can just give it $10 and say, this is what I need for the room. This is how we like it. And you can go from there and see how you like the service. And if you go to the bar, usually I always have like $1, $2. Or if I have a bartender that's the bar that I think that's going to be my go-to bar. I give them $5 in the first day, and then, $1 or $2, depends how I'm using. That's pretty much how comfortable you feel. Truly, it's not something that's really established. That is nice to have it, of course. But, not everybody can afford that too. So there is that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for staying and answering our questions. That's all that I see at this point. So I think we can close there. Thanks again for joining us tonight, everybody. And of course, thanks to Marcela for providing this great information. I am going to be sending out a follow-up email after tonight's program with some links to additional resources and ways to get more information. So look for that. If you're watching the recording of this program and would like those links, just email me at ce@wheatonlibrary.org. That's CE for community engagement @wheatonlibrary.org, and I'd be happy to send those out to you. But again, thanks for joining us, everybody, and thanks so much, Marcela. This was great, and thanks for answering all our questions. We are ready to cruise.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me again, Barry. It's been a pleasure.
Good night, everybody.